Hello everyone, Andy Drifter here. I hope your day is treating you well. This is going to be my first ever movie review that I'm going to do on my channel, and the film that I'm going to talk about today is 2017's Win It All, starring Jake Johnson. Now, up until recently, I had never heard of Jake Johnson. There are two shows that I watch religiously throughout the week. I either watch or listen to them, and that is the Pat McAfee Show and Megyn Kelly. And about a week ago, Johnson appeared on McAfee. They chit-chatted for about a half hour talking about various things, upcoming projects, and he talked about his career path into movies and how he was not getting the quantity of roles that he desired, so what he started to do is create his own films by either writing, producing, and or directing them. And in the case of this film, he does write it, produce it, and edit it. So let's get into it. Jake Johnson plays a character by the name of Eddie Garrett, who lives an incredibly unstable life, and he is a degenerate gambler who is always in the red. He works as a parking lot attendant at Wrigley Field. This film does take place in Chicago, and lucky for him, he doesn't lose a whole lot of money because he doesn't make a whole lot of money, but his number one priority in life is the poker table. Everything else comes in second. Now, after one night of taking a beating at the table, and I should mention, this is not an actual casino. This is one of those back alley underground casinos that you won't find on Google. As someone who once lived in Chicago, I can validate that these places do exist. But after one night of not doing so well at the poker table, he runs into an old friend, and this friend has a very interesting and enriching business proposition. He tells him, look, I am going away to prison for 6 to 9 months. I've got this gym bag here. I need you to hang on to it. Don't look into it. Don't even think about it. Put it away. And when I get out, I will reach out to you. Once I get the bag back, I will give you $10,000 in cash. Now, that is a very handsome offer for little to no work on Eddie's part, so he accepts. Eddie tries his absolute best not to look in the bag and keep his word to his friend, but temptation does get the best of him. He takes a peek inside, and after removing some random objects, he finds a shit ton of cash. And that's when he comes up with this brilliant idea that he's just going to borrow $500 from the bag, no more than $500, and go on a hot streak at the poker table. Now, Eddie's gambling had gotten so bad that he was intermittently involved in Gamblers Anonymous. He reaches out to his sponsor named Gene, who's played by the always entertaining Keegan-Michael Key, and he shares his mastermind idea. And Gene tells him, this is a terrible idea. You're no good at gambling. This plan of yours is going to blow up in your face. Nonetheless, Eddie, he pushes forward, and what do you know? He succeeds. His plan works, and he is $2,000 in the green after a hot night at the poker table. After going on this magical run, Eddie calls up two of his closest pals. They go to their local dive bar, and they are drinking and celebrating all throughout the night. And in the process of doing that, he exchanges glances with this dark-haired beauty named Ava, played by the lovely Aislinn Derbez. They start chatting, and they exchange numbers and start a relationship. Now, Ava's lifestyle is a direct contrast with Eddie, in the sense that she is a full-time nurse who works nights. She's got a child, and they both live with Ava's mother. Eddie, on the other hand, he is a night owl. He sleeps in the mornings, but nevertheless, they try and pursue a relationship. Back to Eddie and his $2,000 in winnings. Look, $2K, it's a lot of money, but it's not life-changing money. He's got to take that and parlay that so he can win some more. So he decides to go to the racetrack. He gets a tip on a potential hot horse, and he lays down his money. And of course, it does not go well. And now Eddie is in the red. Not by much. He dips into the bag to borrow some more money, and he's doing an all-nighter at the poker table to try to recoup his losses, and he is digging himself into a bigger and bigger hole. When it's all said and done, he is in the red by over $20,000. This is a serious situation. This money belongs to a potentially dangerous guy who exercised really bad judgment. Either he didn't know Eddie very well, or he had absolutely nobody else that he could leave the money with. Eddie is a degenerate, and that is the last person you want to leave a bag full of money with. Now, lucky for Eddie, he's got about 6 months to try and make things right. At this point in the film is when Eddie decides to give up gambling cold turkey. He's already in a bad situation. He's not trying to make things worse. He starts going to his Gamblers Anonymous meetings on a more consistent basis. His relationship with his sponsor improves. And he's trying to restore his relationship with his brother. Maybe not for all the right reasons. In an earlier scene, his brother, Ron, who owns a successful landscaping company, he is trying to plead with Eddie and say, look, whatever you're doing, stop it. It's not working. Why don't you come work for me? You'll stabilize your life. You'll get a steady paycheck. You'll learn what a hard, honest day's work feels like. And you'll increase your sense of self-worth. Now, they're doing this while smoking weed. At the time, Eddie is not trying to hear it, and he rebuffs Ron's offer. But now the circumstances have changed, and he's in a real jam. So he goes to see his brother and says, look, I want to come work for you. He also tells him about this debt. Now, Ron is very skeptic of Eddie's newfound willingness to do physical labor. So he lays out this game plan. He's like, you come work for me. You show up every day on time. You work hard. You stay away from the tables and continue to go to your meetings. You do that for 6 months. You hit all those prongs. At the end of 6 months, I will loan you the $20K. At this point, Eddie really has no choice, so he decides to go work for his brother. The whole concept of getting up early in the morning and doing physical labor is completely foreign to Eddie. Nonetheless, he tries it. He struggles with it at first, but over time, he does adapt to it. And he starts to improve as a person. He is continuing to stay away from the poker tables. His relationship with Ava is starting to evolve, and he's showing a different side to his brother. And those two start to become closer and closer. And not only that, to add icing to the cake, with the money that he's making from this landscaping gig, he's able to put some of that towards the debt and chip away at it. All is well in the world of Eddie. Everything is peaches and cream, but it does not stay that way for long. There are some roadblocks ahead, mainly this 6-month time frame that he thought he had to work with has now become a truncated time frame, and he's got some really tough decisions to make that are going to impact every aspect of his life. This tale of the gambler who gets in over his head has been told many different times in many different ways throughout the history of film. That being said, I am so glad that I came across this movie. This was such a pleasure to watch. It's movies like this that are direct evidence that you don't need a large budget or big name actors to make a movie work. And it was only 90 minutes long. In this day and age where some films are exceeding 3 hours in running time, not too long ago I saw Oppenheimer. It was a great film, but man, it just went on and on and on. This was a nice, compact film. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. As far as movie reviews and my channel, if you watch my channel, you know it deals with baseball cards, football cards, sports, autograph signings, etc., etc. In the broad scope of things, yeah, you could call this a sports movie. It does deal with playing poker. There are a few scenes that involve horse racing, but to narrow it down, this is a drama, romance film. There's some elements of comedy in it, but check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. In the very near future, I'm going to be starting a movie review channel. I may upload my movie reviews onto this channel or start a new channel altogether. I'll let you know, but thank you for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and have a great day.